What's up, everybody? FSC Railroad. Yeah, we're here. Check this out. This is weird. I just got done filming this. A little bit of history. Sorry I've been away for a while. I'll get back to making my videos in the future again. At least I'll try to. But nonetheless, here's one for you. Enjoy. Now check this out. Who would have thought, while sitting over here looking for coffee in Matewan, West Virginia, I'd come across a push move with an actual caboose in Matewan, West Virginia, right where the Matewan Massacre, the Battle of Matewan took place, right here. Empty coal train. There's the old bank building. The bullet hole still in the wall right behind Jen. Look at this coal car. I'm guessing these were staircases. Seeing the old footage, or not old footage, but the old photographs after the battle. I guess the crossing was a staircase. Bottom dumper right here. Mixed type of cars on this. Another bottom dropper. Porter. See, your bottom dropper, them doors open to unload the coal. And these like here, you have to flip the car over and dump it out. I'm going to show you these bullet holes. Now what you're looking at is some bullets. There's brass slugs. They put these in there to keep the holes open. notice with the different types of cars used, do they break up this consist once it's loaded? Or why is it a push move? That's another good question. With an actual caboose. So like this car, what do you call this car with the two bellies? One belly and the second one. What do you call that? You notice he picked up the pace a little too. Still picking up the pace. So if we spin around here, I'll see if I can get the photograph, but there's a photograph taken from across the tracks, where apparently there used to be a walkway that went across the tracks. These tracks were there. We're talking about the Matewan Massacre, the Battle of Matewan. I'm looking at the tall building. I'm also looking way up there. There's like a structure. It makes you wonder. This is a replica of what was there at that time. It even says it right here that this sign is a replica, not an actual sign. Don't try to cross here. Anyway, this is the old bank building. And the way I understand it, and yeah, this town is, now the way I understand it, in this town is where the whole Hatfield and McCoy thing started. But this is 1921 when this happened, so this is kind of related but not related. It's actually a cousin to it. For pointing in that direction, I'm pointing on the compass towards the west, and this way is the east. Now what way the line goes, don't know. North, south, east, west, couldn't tell you. But that way's east, that way's west. So The issue was coal mining. Imagine that. Now that holds something dear to my heart because my grandfather was a coal miner in that era as well, and left the mines of Wilkes-Barre in 1952 because, well, he was going broke. But it was a union problem. So the local miners wanted the unions. Of course, the coal companies didn't. So what the coal companies do, they basically made their own police force or detectives or something like that. Well, these detectives were starting to evict people that were working in the mines, but also living in mine-owned houses. That detective agency basically started evicting these people, and the locals didn't like it. Well, Sid Hatfield, or Smillin Sid Hatfield, was also the chief of police here in Matewan. So he was like, all right, this kind of stuff's got to stop. So there was a movie based on this, but I'm not going based on what I saw in the movie. It's just some stuff I tried to read when I got here because I find it real interesting. Is Sid Hatfield, along with the mayor, stopped these guys that were walking right along the tracks here. And this is a road. Between the tracks and these buildings is actually a road. And they were walking along the road, and they stopped them and presented them with an arrest warrant. And long story short, the way I understand it, someone from on this side opened fire. They weren't shooting at Sid or the mayor. They were shooting at these detectives, the coal company guys. And there are still bullet holes in that wall right there. In fact, see that plaque? Let's go check that out. So the shots came from behind us-ish, somewhere in that general direction. And what they did is they put brass slugs in the wall to keep the holes from closing. But I think it kind of gives you a rough idea of the direction of the shots. These four, 1, 2, 3, and 4, just based on the direction, I'll spin the camera directly facing where the shots would have come from. So I'm thinking up in them hills, but that's why I was also looking at these buildings over here and that structure up there. But if you look out that way, oh, was that house there? Was that white house in the background there? There? Who knows? Everything I read said it was rifle shots. There's also, although that one up, those two up there I think are for mounting some kind of a sign because they're the same distance from the wall to the hole. Same distance from the wall to the hole. I think there's more. I don't know. I don't see any others on this wall here. Now this says it was the post office, but it said the bank somewhere else I read over here. Well, the actual new bank is right there. Actually, the bank was probably that. This probably was post office, now I think about it. That's a picture of Sid Hatfield. Okay, well, there's the depot and its old-time place on the outside of the curve of the track. There's the sign, there's the building, and the walkway / cross. I guess you could cross the vehicle there. Another thing I'll notice is well, no, because this isn't this this might not be this crossing then. Actually, looking at that, that would be. Look at the stairs and the way the top is built here. Be further down the line, actually. Now you gotta check out the old depot. The depot was rebuilt. It's down that way a bit. But the old depot was right about where, see that building right there and right there? That's where the depot originally was, around that curve. Because there's this building right there, the tall one right there. It said Schaefer Equipment Store on the side of it. And the depot apparently was directly across from what I saw in that picture right there. right there in that photograph, right here. And the depot was directly across where that building is, right next to, what do they say, Lockup 1908 on there. City Hall. So I'm guessing between the church, well, that's the old City Hall, and that church, the depot was right around here. Because in the picture, there's an old switch track just visible. So there's the church, and the switch track was right about there. Matter of fact, there's a piece of iron where it was pulled up. That was a lead that went out in that direction, out in that valley. Alrighty, so now we're over here at the Matewan depot. Now this is a replica depot made in 2002 because the original one fell in disrepair. I think they tore it down in like the late 60s, like 68, 69-ish. And then in 2002 they built it here again, just as like a welcome center type deal. But I'll show you where it originally was. I was able to find it in historical pictures that were on different posts and so forth about what was where. But check it out, I got the old school signal right there. Let's go walk. Let's go walk and see. Now I know it's backlit terribly. I'm trying to do the best I can with it. Well, you see, as of now, you can see the block signals from where we're sitting right here. Walk up in the shadows, you might see it. So it's an actual older station. And again, this is the replica of the way it was built back in the day. Station, and then freight platform that went all around the one side and into the back. So it looks like it always was here because it's been here a while. But yeah, this is what it would have looked like in its time and day. Of course, now the flood control walls were not there. I think they put them up. Yeah, they put them up in 96. I saw at the campground area. That got put up in 96. Now there are tunnels further down that line. Instead of going all the way around the river like that, they just cut through Kentucky, just through the tunnel. It's kind of interesting. I'll show it to you on the maps. So this is the old rail bed that comes out of Matewan that comes up that direction on maps. See, it came from that way. It's all disconnected. And the rails are all pulled down or pulled away from up that way. But there was a road, or still kind of is a road, and then a rail bed. So after they built the flood wall there, there's a spot for the rail to go through. So I'm imagining it's still potential that maybe they could ever bring the rail back. Who knows? However, what I want to show you was down here. So right there in front of us is the taller building that we discussed. And directly across from that, on the other side of the tracks, is where that depot was. The old signal, where it used to be. So in the picture you can see where this track used to hook on to this line right here, and directly in front of that store was where the switch used to be, right about here. Right about there the switch used to be and come through. The depot was where the now road is. The real road was between that barrier and that church. The road we just came down on with the side-by-side. Matter of fact, you see over there, see the roof of my side-by-side right there, sitting in the church parking lot. I'm sure everybody's curious. How old is this rail? Considering, and when was this put in or when was it taken out? I'm not sure. But what I am sure is this rail was extruded in 1991. And that would be January, February, March, April of 91. This particular rail anyway. So that's the church there. I have a feeling in 1920, this was not here, and this was not here. Park right here quick. So the old jail and the historic city hall. Matewan lockup in City Hall, 1908. I just noticed something. The original curb line, like I said, I don't think that was there. The church, probably. That building, who knows? Maybe, maybe not, but definitely not this. But the rock wall, was that built before or after? Good question. Notice the curb lines, the sewer, and so on. Look out, babe. But look at this curve here on the wall. The wall dividing the new road from the old road. Look how it just curves right in and shoots straight off to where the ambush was right there. There's your larger building, like I said. The depot would have been against the rail tracks right about here. Right where this road used to be. Sorry, right where this road is now. So I find it interesting when you look at the original, or just what was there prior when they built that wall, you know, just find it interesting and curious. I find all stuff like that fascinating, just the little intricate details of the story, because these are the parts of the story you just don't know until you're actually standing there looking at it. I often say many times, and you can read about history in books, but if you can stand where it took place, you learn a lot. And that's why I do stuff that I do. You know, I like to go exploring different areas with the razor, like explore different areas on foot if need be, however which to do it. But if you go where something historical happened and you look at it, you start to take perspective as to what happened that day as opposed to just read about it. Because if you're standing in the location where it happened, you start to understand, and then you wonder, what happened since then? I mean, 1920 was, 103 years ago. The bullet holes are still in the building. That's still pretty badass. And this town's barely surviving. Think about it. It's an old coal town. There's not much coal getting dragged out of this little section, but now it's all about the off-road scene. That's why they made the Hatfield and McCoy trails and stuff that we've been doing all the past 2 days. It's all about that right now. So I like to see stuff like this preserved as long as possible. That's why I do these videos, let you guys know what's here. You definitely ought to come check it out.